Okay, this is the observation part to the first interview, with me being the counselor. So we'll start to discuss what observations we had.
Okay, well, first off, I noticed that you introduced yourself and that went well. It was kind of, you created a welcoming kind of environment for me kind of coming in, just trying to place the client, be in the client's shoes. I think you did a really good job at doing that. You also, kind of checked off, the consent, the confidentiality. You even asked me if I had any questions or concerns or any kind of comments. So again, it wasn't you just dictating to me what it was that I needed to know. It was open for discussion. So that was helpful.
Yeah, no, it was.
The only thing with that is around confidentiality is just including, if you're going to include it, it's include like all the areas of confidentiality.
Yeah.
So one of the things it was just mentioning if my information ever got subpoenaed into court.
Oh, yes, okay.
That you would have to provide them with the necessary information. Okay, so yeah, you obtained consent. You also did, question a lot, around, my medical, kind of more some around my physical, my mental health, as well as my social support. So again, you did a fairly, thorough assessment for the 20 minutes that you had.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got a lot of information from me, and I wasn't always easy and forthright with some of the information. And so that was really good. But again, I felt safe kind of sharing and elaborating on some information. We got a little bit confused because at first I think we were I was talking about a house, then we were talking about an apartment, and then I was talking about evicted, and then I was talking about the bank kicking me out. And so I think our terminology kind of got mixed up in it all. But, and that we were kind of on the same page that way.
I also didn't clarify that, though.
I made it a bit confusing.
Yeah.
So it was a bit confusing. But again, that's something kind of minute. I think you would have, again, that information or, but sometimes our clients make things confusing, especially with memory or whatever. Yeah. They can't remember the words or things like that.
I could have definitely clarified that to be like, okay, I was under the impression of this.
Yeah.
Can you just maybe explain to me more or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you definitely used a good balance between open-ended and closed-ended questions. That you definitely asked me a lot more open-ended questions. So again, that's helpful, and that's how you got so much information during the session. But you asked some really appropriate closed-ended sessions. So there was one that stuck out for me. So have you ever been referred to service? So again, you were really checking out what other, service providers I've either worked with or that I'm currently connected to. So I thought that was a really good question.
Thank you.
And then also in terms of focusing on the positives, using the word courage, you acknowledged, actually, I think you said that twice throughout the session. And, that really kind of made me feel empowered. And I know Gabrielle doesn't really like, that empowered word, but I think it kind of uplifted me or, gave me, again, validated me. I felt validated, I guess. The fact that, losing my house, I'm going through all this struggle. I have other things on my plate, but yet I'm continuing to kind of work through them, trying to be optimistic, which was really important. You also were really good at informing me about the process around the housing. So the fact that it was going to be tedious, that you let me know in advance that it was going to be difficult, that, you didn't give me that false sense that this is going to be easy, because I may have assumed, why can't I have housing? Why isn't this done? Why isn't it happening faster? So you let me know in advance that this is going to be a process. It's not going to happen today.
Yeah.
Whereas I could have came in thinking that it was going to happen today and that I would needed all that information and was expecting for you to work miracles and for me to have a place. So I think you were really good at informing me around that process. One of the things was I did observe kind of, fixing hair, looking away, shifting a little bit. But again, I think that comes down to nervousness in the role play. And like you said, we know each other, kind of makes it, and we're trying not to laugh and we're trying to be serious. And I think that sometimes can kind of help with that. So, I would imagine you probably don't do that.
I think I might, though. I think I might. I feel like great observation, because I honestly never realized how much I twitch and move until I watched the video, and I was like, oh my gosh, I really do it a lot.
Yeah.
But maybe I do that a lot. maybe it's when I'm first meeting somebody, or I don't know, like maybe I'm put under like a video or something. Totally. And I don't, that's something I definitely will be more self-conscious of now. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to fix myself as many times.
Yeah.
But definitely, yeah, I look uncomfortable.
It could just be a bit distracting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like,
totally.
you know, kind of just looking down or, fixing or, you know, that kind of stuff. But absolutely, like, this is the thing. This is why we do it, to work on ourselves and to notice what it is that we did. You did a really good job at paraphrasing when I was talking about my memory with the neighbor. You did a really good job. Like, I was telling you about my neighbor and how I couldn't remember and I had gotten lost, and my neighbor brought me back. You were really able to regurgitate it kind of in your own way, and that you confirmed, you know, what it was that I was saying. And you also did some good jobs at doing some kind of check-in questions with me. And also was able to identify some feelings. So, you know, that it must be scary with me potentially getting evicted. And again, you asked a good open-ended question following that was, how was your reaction to that? You know, so you were eliciting from me some feelings so that you were getting some more information to kind of, to go on. When I asked you a question for clarification around the Red Cross, you actually thanked me for asking you. So I really felt that helped me to think that I could be asking you more questions in the future, that if I didn't know something, like, you didn't make me feel stupid, you know, that I didn't know the information. And I felt really, again, safe asking you something because you actually said, yeah, thank you for asking me that. You know, here's the information that you need. So it wasn't, I didn't feel judged, you know, and I thought that you handled that really well and responded that.
That's awesome.
Like, really, really well. One of the things was also that you had asked me for examples. So again, just getting me, if you weren't sure what I was actually trying to say, you would ask me for some more specifics so that you had an understanding of where I was coming from. A couple little things, again, to kind of, I guess, look for was that, I guess, when we were wrapping up, you did a really good job kind of at summarizing, you know, identifying. You kept me kind of unfocused around the housing and that, you know, this is what we're going to do for our next session. So again, that was really positive, is that I had an idea of what we were going to continue working on. I didn't leave there, you know, going, well, why do I have to come back? You know, you told me why I had to come back. So it could have been helpful just to book an appointment with me.
Oh, yeah.
For the next session. But again, it's just mindful. I mean, again, you gave me time and let me know when you were kind of wrapping things up so that we were kind of coming to our end. So, and then you gave me the opportunity at the end to say, was there anything else that I was missing or that you need to share? So again, it allowed me, I didn't feel like you rushed it. I didn't feel like you shut me down just because it was the end of the session and that I had to like get it right out of there. So that was really nice too.
Thank you. I heard myself saying a lot, and that was a killer. Yes. I didn't realize how many times I say Yes. It's something I definitely need to start working on.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's
and again, I think it's just because we're overthinking because we're trying to apply these skills. But you're very right. Like, you know, I think when we watched kind of the video together again, it was kind of, especially near the summary, it was like, okay, we're wrapping up, but did I cover everything? So you're kind of thinking, did I cover everything? Yeah. And then there were some ums that were kind of
it's
coming
definitely a good pause or like, okay, now I remember.
Yes.
Also, I can't stop doing that. There were, I remember trying to describe something and having a really good idea of what I wanted to say, and then stopping and being like, oh wait, am I describing this right, or am I using the right terminology? Because I didn't want to confuse. I'm kind of being conscientious of, you know, who I'm speaking with. Like, for instance, if it was like a youth or a senior, I want to make sure that I'm using the right words so that it's clear. And I found myself tripping on that a lot. So there were times I remember at the end, I would say something and then I kind of would say it again in a different way. Yeah. Or a piggyback questions where I'd kind of add things. So that's something I definitely think I could work on as well. But you made it really easy. Like, you're pretty like easygoing client who kind of just answer the questions. Yeah. So that was really helpful. Yeah. Like, it was really helpful that you just kind of, you didn't challenge anything I said, or you didn't, you know, find that I was interrogating too much, which was nice. So
yeah, no, I definitely felt you asked like a good balance of questions. I gave a good balance of information to you for us to move forward.
For sure.
One of the only things was that I felt like I was trying to tell you as much as I didn't want to leave my place because I was like being pushed out and it really wasn't my choice. But I was telling you that I was kind of ready to move on, and it was almost like I felt like you were trying to keep me in my place.
Yeah.
So that was the only thing where I maybe didn't feel so heard.
Yeah.
Was that, and again, maybe that was an error on my part. Maybe I was thinking I was extending that out to you, and you weren't picking up because I was kind of speaking about how I was optimistic towards change, and that lots of people I know downsize, so I'll be okay. And so I'd almost kind of prepared myself for that response that I needed to, but to find out that I could stay, I never really maybe thought of that as an option, but it definitely is an option to definitely explore.
Yeah.
But
I think that's where I found discrepancies. I was like, well, you're saying that, that you had a lot of sentiment put into that home, but then you are ready to move. So I was kind of trying to, I think at that point I was trying to challenge, but I didn't do a really good job challenging.
Yeah.
Like, so one hand you're saying this, but on the other hand you're not saying that. And I felt uncomfortable challenging for the first time. Like, I mean, because it's the first session, really, we shouldn't be challenging, right? But I felt that I wanted to really get a clear picture, and I don't think I was able to get that. And you're definitely right. I imposed my own values of, family. I'm very family oriented, so I was imposing my own values on how important this home was to her, when really maybe it wasn't. Maybe this is her way to kind of part of her grieving process to kind of let go, to be like, okay, I'm ready to move on. And I wasn't willing to hear that.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. I felt that now that we talk about that, absolutely right.
Yeah.
And again, I was imposing my own values on her, which is interesting.
But I didn't feel challenged. Like when you said but you said this on one hand and then you said this on the other hand. I never felt challenged. I felt like you were just seeking clarification.
Okay.
So that was good. Like I didn't come off to me as challenging, and again, I think overall I found you to be very warm and caring, and that, I could see myself coming back for another session. And so I think you really kind of helped to focus the session, especially in the limited time that we did have, and really kind of keep it on track, but also acknowledging that there were a lot of stuff going on, and you even kind of said, I want to talk about all those things, but we can't, but I want to know that I heard you. And so you did a really good job at that. And then, like I said, it's summarizing for me to know what I was coming back for. So.
Great. Well, thank you. It was an awesome experience.
Yes.
And again, as doing it without any practice, it really, it was a really good lesson for us.
Yeah, it was interesting.
It was
and I think some of our videos kind of are overlapping, in terms of, some of the information we're gathering. But you know what? It just flowed the way that it flowed and the way that it's meant to be. And, I think that's the best way, I think, for us to kind of really take a look at what are we doing well and what we're not doing well.
That's right. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, awesome experience, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care.